Hello again and welcome. I just want to start by saying thank you so much to everyone who's watched my videos before and liked and commented and subscribed. It's just wonderful. It's lovely. Thank you again. Now, this time, I just want to say, previously, we've had latest and greatest, newest and loveliest. Now, this time, we're going to go the other way. See, I've been purchasing items in this sort of genre for many a year, nigh on 30 years actually. So what I wanted to do with some of these videos is reach into the archives occasionally and find something that may be of interest, a curiosity. Pull out a little curiosity. So for those of you who weren't around when they came out, or those of you who were around and would like a little reminder, and there may be something that you see you really like and you go, you know what, I didn't know it existed before and I'd like to chase one up. So I wanted to start with something that is one of my favorite Batman figures. It's been that way for a long time. It's nice and simple from the early 2000s, and there is a point to this as well, because this one led to another item, which I'm going to get to very soon, which I genuinely believe is a real gem. So we'll wind the clock back now, early 2000s, and this one was done by Mattel. Mattel were the ones at that point who were doing the DC Universe figures. And this one is an interesting one in that I find the business of figures quite interesting. The decisions that have to be made, everything's got to be done to a price, and you've got to be thinking of markets. I mean, not that I'm a part of it, but from what I see, from what you see from the outside, what you can surmise. What they did with this one, they very effectively, I think, tried bridging the gap between toys for kids and something that would appeal to adults as well. This that you see before you is a Mattel Batman bought in a regular old department store, a kid's Batman. You can see he came with a nice big batarang, two open hands, because as was described to me, it's when it's a kid's toy, your kids want to put things in the hands, you're going to have open hands. But and in this particular one, he even had like a rappelling feature. So the idea being, arms up in the air. I will take that out. Arms up in the air. Sorry. Rotate them. And he would hold this. And he would rappel down a line. Nice cloth cape there, flow in the wind. Dibba-doo-dibba-doo. Now, look. I may have, as a grown man, rigged up a string at a high point in my office space to a low point in my office space and given him the odd run up and down. I may have done that. I may not have. But if I did, I may have done it purely for testing purposes, just to make sure that these people weren't doing TV ads and promotions for kids is showing off features that the figure could not achieve. So someone's got to hold these big companies' feet to the fire and make sure that they're asking the hard questions. And in that time, in that place, I was the man to do it. So we do have. So look at it, lovely Batman with a feature for kids. But this, you could tell at the time they were also courting the adult market, because this mold, it showed up in action figure collecting magazines. Yes, there were magazines back in the day. Made of paper, even. Magazines made of paper. And I remember this popping up in a figure collecting magazine. And they made a big deal about the people who did the sculpt. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Gentle Giant. Might have been a bit too early for them. I'm not sure. But what they did was, see, it's intended. It was used as a kid's toy, but non-articulated arms. The body's all solid, not broken up with articulation. I firmly believe that they were bridging a gap. And you can see, at the time, Mattel were also doing figures, or very soon after, that went into specialty stores. And you would get other Mattel DC figures like this Firestorm of mine, who I to this day, I still really like this figure. Purchased from a comic shop. And by the way, this is the thing. A very close mate of mine once said to me, you know, mate, of all the things you've got that looks like it belongs on the set of Big Bang Theory, that's the one. Which, you know, I'm not going to argue with that. But Firestorm aside for the moment, I might do a more in-depth review of him if you're interested, if people are interested in it. But this particular Batman, even to this day, I still love his design. He's very comic-y. He's almost got a bit of an animated movie, DC animated movie look to him. Look, the Batarang always worked with him as far as I was concerned. I put the line on it so that he'd have something in his other hand. And he was one of my standard Batman figures for many, many years. And this is what I'm getting to. This is something that I'm really leading up to with this. He led to what is, in my opinion, a real gem, and to this day, one of my favourite things. And I'll show you right now. See, well, maybe not right now. Back in the day, of course, they were still, as they do now, these companies were still doing convention exclusives. And this Batman, this body, was certainly reused for those purposes. And I'll show you what they did for one of the exclusives. One of the exclusives, it was about 2003. I think it was a Wizard convention. They came out with this. And I absolutely love it to death. Love it to death. Bruce Wayne unmasking. And this figure, I mean, for a start, how often do you see this? How many, low price, low price figures have you ever seen of Bruce taking his mask off? And it's not just ripping it off casually before he chucks it in the washing or anything like that. The way they've done it, it's like he is revealing his identity to someone. It's a very, it's got an event feel about it. But what they've done, and I think this is a lovely example, the sort of stuff I was blathering on about early on, the business side of producing figures. So they've taken this one, they've just said, okay, they've made some inspired decisions and they have executed it nicely, because they've said, we'll take the same body, the same legs, same belt. What we'll do, we'll knock up some new arms, we'll knock up a new head, and you can see what they've done with these arms. They haven't skimped, they haven't wussed out or anything like that. Look at that. They look fantastic. They are lovely, lovely arms. They work really well. the head. Oh, okay, maybe a little bit hard to get the lights in there. It really works. It's a lovely, lovely thing. And just stay still, Bruce. One of my hopes doing these reviews or doing these little showcases is that maybe you weren't there at that time, maybe you were and you just missed this, you didn't know about it. And maybe you're looking at this going, I love it. I absolutely love it. 5 minutes ago I didn't know it existed, but I've always wanted one. So I'm just here to give you a little thread you can pull on if you decide you want to get one. You know, if you don't know something exists, you don't know how to look for it. So I can tell you, made by Mattel, Batman Unmasking, I would put in a search. I think it was a Wizard convention exclusive. Actually, Wizard was a comic, I don't even know if it's still around. It was a magazine, again, made out of paper, all things comics and toys and collectibles and so forth. So this is what we've got. Oh, and they did a moulded cape with it as well. And I think it was just a series of really good decisions whereby they've gone, okay, we're going to produce figures. We're going to produce a lot of them for kids, for department stores, sell hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever the numbers tend to be. We're going to pay the money for a good sculpt. We're going to get these things made. We're going to produce something that is articulated and movable enough and it has got enough going on for kids to play around with it and enjoy them, but they are also going to sit quite nicely on a shelf for someone who just wants it to sit there and have a nice Batman figure. I think they were trying to bridge markets, and I feel like they did a very good job. And they certainly did reuse this, as all of the companies do. They do a good one and then go, okay, we'll maximise on the investment. We'll do all sorts of versions of it. Here's another one. This is one that we found at just a school fete. Been sitting around. This is my eldest's, and he loves it. And you can see how they were making the most out of their investment. We'll make him blue. We'll give him a slightly different head, a little bit more going on with the mask, different belt. You know, change the cape color and so forth. But it's them making the most out of the money they obviously spent on getting this thing done. So I think I've even seen a highly fully articulated version of this thing before, but I don't have it. So I just wanted to really make you aware of something that maybe you've never seen before, you weren't around at the time, you were aware of this but weren't aware of that. It's a lovely Batman, and the sculpt is so nice. And as you can see, you get one of the batarangs, shove a bit of rope in his hand, and the two open hands are of no consequence. He just stands really nicely, nice strong pose. It's an absolute ripper. I love these things to death, and I think I am gonna keep loving them till the day I finally fall off the perch, and am then dead and gone. I love it, and of course the beauty of something like this, as I said, how often do you see a figure of Bruce unmasking? How often do you see one that's not? You know, it's not an expensive statue. It's not something easily breakable. It's a low risk version. You can have this guy sitting next to your computer screen. No worries at all. Does it matter if it falls over? No. Does it matter if it falls off the table? No. No worries at all. And so, and for me, it will always be a little step back in time when I look at it, and I look at my beginnings as a I'd have to say eclectic collector, because I've never really bought an entire series of anything. The only series that I ever set out to buy in its entirety many moons ago was the Batman animated series, the ones that are being remolded by McFarlane. I was there when DC Direct did them originally. It'd have to be 15 years maybe. So I certainly set out to buy all of those, but I got so sick to death of the number of reuse figures. You'd buy the figures as they came out, but then they'd produce a 3-pack or a 4-pack, excuse me, with one new one and 2 that you've already bought. So that they just did it too often for me, and I got a bit jack of it and walked away from that series. So, but anyway, that's a really big digression. So this is, this is one of my goals. This is one of the things I always had in my mind when I was thinking about doing these videos. Yes, every now and again there'll be an up-to-the-minute latest and greatest thing, but I would like to put these little videos in. Members of my family so many times have said, you've got all these interesting things in this room. People might be interested to see it, and I'm hoping that's true. So this is the first one. I thought I'd start with, one of my favorite things, 2 of my favorite things actually. So the Mattel Batman, that I feel these 2 is a lovely example of, with very good decisions made and very good execution of those decisions, allowed them to bridge a gap and keep a figure line going for quite a long time, because they were able to get some money in from very diverse markets. So there you go. Thank you to those who've watched. I hope this was informative or interesting, or a little trip down memory lane maybe. And as I said, I certainly hope this is this might be a video that alerts you to something that you didn't know existed, and you want to go, you know what, I might see if I can find one. I don't know whether they'd be expensive. Who knows? So happy hunting, and have a good day. Bye-bye.